Hello, welcome to another edition of IIABCAL Voices. I'm your host and producer, James Lott Jr. And we have another guest who is part of the association, and they do a lot of HR work, workers' comp. Well, it's all their services and things they do. The company is BBSI, is all what that means also. And we're talking to the area manager, Dan Ventura. Hi, Dan. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you? Fantastic Monday.
Yeah, it's a good Monday. I feel good today. I'm ready for the week. Are you ready for the week? I'm ready for
Absolutely. Always ready.
Yes. Well, it's funny you say that. So I actually want to open this up first to, we mentioned HR. Okay, so they offer services like, I'll make sure I get this in there, business strategy, human resources, payroll administration, retirement benefits, risk and safety, staffing, recruiting, technology solutions, and workman's comp. All that stuff does not sound glamorous. We know that. We all know that don't sound glamorous.
You're not enticed.
Well, let's see. Risk and safety sounds interesting. But we know it's all necessary for any company, any industry, any business. It is across the board. It's what all those things are all components we need. So we know that for sure. But I want to ask you first, Dan, because insurance, which we're a big I, what we're talking about, plus you guys, is it all about people? Isn't this whole thing all about people?
100%. And I think BBSI takes that to the next level because our model is based on people. So when clients partner with us, they're assigned a 4-person team, and that 4-person team is a risk specialist, a HR specialist, a payroll specialist, and of course a business partner who has had to own a business prior and has business knowledge and business experience. And so they have complete empathy for business owners. So that business partner leads this 4-person team in a real high touch model where we service clients typically within 60 or 70 radius miles from here. So we can be really responsive to clients' needs. Our teams are expected to see our clients minimally once per quarter, sometimes more often than that if we're working on a special initiative or project for them, but minimally 4 times per year. And really, there's no one out there that I'm aware of that's doing what we do in the PEO or professional employer organization arena. And I think that's what really differentiates BBSI from the rest of the people, or I should say the rest of our competition. And I'm glad you started it with people, because that's what we're all about, is people, process, and prosperity. And it's all about relationships.
Yes, because I want to make sure it's clear, because on this show, many times we talked about, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we offer. But it's like, but when you boil all the hoo-ha down, it's about community, people, relationships. Like you said, the independent agent, which is their own business, they're a small business or a medium-sized, it doesn't matter what kind, but they're still a business, and it goes down to people. And I think I used to work in HR and retail, and I was really good at it because I liked helping out people. I like to make sure that things were taken care of and where their needs were met. And so with you guys, what I like about this is you say high touch communication. I'm a certified life coach, and we learn about high touch meaning. So folks out there who don't know what that means, it's very heavily being really physically involved. Like you're in front of the people, right?
100%. That's right.
So that 4-person team is right there.
That's right. And to even back that up further, James, is that even our business development managers, some people refer to them as salespeople, but we don't sell direct. So our business development managers, I love the term business development because that's really what they're doing. We're developing business through insurance brokers because we don't sell direct. We get our invitations to the table from insurance brokers. So we refer to them as referral partners. Now, more often than not, they're P&C brokers, but they also can be comprised of CPAs, bookkeepers, attorneys, other type of business strategist coaching, that kind of thing. So we get a lot of 100% of our business comes through referrals. Well, and as well as client referrals, clients who are really happy with what we're doing for them. And I'm proud of our 92% client retention rate, which says that our clients are, once they're engaged with us, they really appreciate the value we bring to them.
Well, the thing is all about when you find someone like this, you find a good HR firm or a good workman's comp firm, you do go, I know somebody. Everybody's always like, do you know anybody good? Like you do. I mean, like with insurance, like anybody, like you want to make sure like a good plumber or a good electrician. Word of mouth really does help because someone go, you should use my folks. I know some people who are really good. Here's BBSI, here's Dan Ventura, whoever the area manager, here's this person. That's very true. I think that's something that sometimes is underrated. We can do all this stuff online, have commercials and all this good. That's great too. That all works. But I think word of mouth is that old school way, Dan. I'm sorry, I'm old. Sorry, I like the old school way.
well, I'm old too. Then, if you're old, I'm ancient. But I agree. I agree with you, James. That it is. It's all about referrals and who you know and how you can pass that on to fellow colleagues or friends or family, what have you.
Yeah. So now, okay, because we are working with businesses and sometimes independent agencies or brokerages, we're working with them. So kind of talk me through. So I'm like, okay, I got a business. It's maybe 20, 25 employees. We'll start there as employees. And I need help. So I reach you. So what was some of the first steps you can talk me through a little bit?
Sure. So typically it would come through the insurance broker who already has their workers' compensation placed with that client, or is trying to get that BOR for that client, right? So because our two primary entry points are workers' comp or payroll. Some folks come to us for payroll services without the insurance and what have you, but typically it's a workers' comp play. But again, workers' comp and payroll are commodities, right? You can get them from hundreds, if not thousands of opportunities you can get those from. Where BBSI focuses is again in organizational development, cultural alignment. Again, going back to, I loved how you opened. We're in the people business, so we want to help clients reach their goals and continue their success, so we can help improve their probability of success with this team that cares almost as much about their business as those business owners do. So the idea is to kind of take that workload off of them and focus on the things that got them in, or allow them to focus on the things that got them in the business in the first place. But our teams work on the admin and compliance, that ugly, nasty word compliance, and the other things, and help them with best practices along the way. So it really is. So what happens is the insurance company, a broker, introduces us to the client. We get to meet them. We kind of do a either virtual or we prefer in person, but with the advent of the pandemic and so forth, right? We'll take it however we can get it.
Okay, that's right. Let's make sure you guys are flexible. It's like we could do Zoom, FaceTime, in person. You're like,
oh yeah,
business. You guys are continuing your business, aren't you?
Talk about aging myself. We are the Gumby of PEOs. We're that flexible.
Gumby, oh my God, yes, you're aging me too. Yes, you're aging me too. Yes, but I know, but that's I want to make sure it's clear because you guys, BBSI, literally, I guess, also went the way they went the way of what's going on out there. So you guys are current. You're like, we can meet you where you are in terms of how your comfortability is. That's the mission, right?
That's right.
Okay, so go from there. How much that said. So you go from there.
No, that was great. So we want to get to know our clients. We vet our clients as much as they're vetting us to see if because look, we want a good fit. We don't want we're not writing business just for the sake of writing business. We want to partner, and I use that word in a very serious and compassionate way. The partnership to us is vitally important. It's not just about writing a policy or taking their income. It's about this partnership, because our team is a large part of their compensation is based on KPIs on how we help that client succeed. It's not like we get paid as soon as we write the policy, right? It's all about the teamwork that's involved in helping that client evolve and elevate and to meet their goals and continue to succeed. So we want to make sure we're partnering with folks who want to be a part of that process. And not everyone does, frankly. So it's not a fit for everyone, and we're okay with that. But I think that vetting process is super important for both parties. And again, that helps point to that 92% retention rate, because we are so careful in who we do business with. So at any rate, we go through that process. Typically the client either likes or doesn't like what they hear. And we then go to a quick underwriting process where we visit a site and just start the underwriting process, and then we typically give a pricing indication up front so they know what they're getting into. It's funny, there's a misnomer out there about PEOs, speaking of price, that where people think that, oh my gosh, you're charging so much extra for these services, and honestly, in reality, and more often than not always, I can't say it's every single time. More often than not, we can provide all of our services, the payroll, the HR support, and all this high touch model for about the same price you're paying strictly for compensation, workers' comp from a common carrier. So it's not like it's this elusive, holy cow, this is crazy expensive. It actually, you're doing your clients a tremendous service by bringing to a company like BBSI, because again, we're gonna try to ensure their continued success, and we care a whole lot more about that company than just the insurance, because the insurance is just, like I said, is an entry point, right. But we focus so much more on strategy and so forth.
I like the fact that, if I came in for one thing, that there's several things you also offer. If I needed that, it's a nice add-on. It's like, okay, we're in for workers' comp, but yeah, we have some issues with maybe retirement benefits too, or have some issues. Maybe we do need some business. Maybe we need to revisit our business strategy. Maybe you guys can help us with that in terms of, HR and payroll. I mean, I like the fact you guys have a variety that you can kind of, not just for one thing, like you said, give you a bundle of stuff that, here you go, and it's in one package.
That's right. Well, and back to, I'm sorry to cut you. And that to that point, it's you get an assigned professional. It's not an 800 number where you're calling an HR department and you have no idea who you're speaking to. This is you have your specific HR professional. You have your specific payroll specialist. I mean, these people are working. You get their cell numbers, for crying out loud. So you get to bug them, and even on weekends sometimes they answer their phone, right? So because look, business is dynamic. Business is real time. So you can't just put business in a box and say it's only 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. So business goes on, and we want to be responsive and proactive with our clients.
I also want to get across to people is that your team keeps up with all laws, regulations, bills. Like, talk about that a little bit. I want to make sure that's something I feel like because it becomes tricky in these particular fields of workman's comp, payroll, all that kind of stuff. So please. No,
that's a great point, James. So we hire the best of the best, and again, people can take that and say, "Oh, everyone says that, right?" But we typically
mean it.
But we really mean it. That's right. That's right. We really mean it, though. We don't hire out of college, and not because we don't like college kids, but we want a minimum of 10 years real world experience. Okay. So all of our folks are degreed and have a high level of expertise in their field and in their discipline. So typically 10 to 20, like our teams here in Long Beach, serving the LA area, I mean, they're over 20 years, each of them 20 years of experience in each of their disciplines. So you have HR folks who have master's degree in HR and organizational development. You have payroll folks who are typically even degreed in either in accounting or data analysis. Same thing with the risk folks; they're all certified and degreed. So these are people who are. It is very expensive to put these people on the street and serve our clients. And I think that's why when you mentioned 25 employees, when you gave me that scenario of a company that might come to us, typically our ideal, I mean, every client's ideal for us, but I think our major thrust and focus is somewhere between 10 employees and about 150. Okay. Those are, now that's not to say we don't have clients with 500 employees, because we do, and we have clients with 5 employees. But the idea is, I would say our predominant client base is somewhere between 10 and 150-ish. And again, having this quality of a team to be able to, and this level of professionalism, to be able to come and help these clients in these areas, you typically can't just go get that and afford to put those 4 people on your payroll at that size of company. So
right.
It is
that's true too. That's a great way. That's a great way to say that, because a lot of us who, we have the people we need for specific things that we're trying to do. We'd love to add other people on sometimes that can handle those other things that are very important. I mean, this is very important stuff. Workman's comp, it's all very important, but you just don't have the money to put them on full time or whatever space or size. We're getting that basically, as kind of an add-on. It's like we get you guys, and they're part of the team. Like, I like what you said. You said that you have people who work for you guys who actually have real world experience. It's been a long time since I've actually heard people praise that. I always tell them, I go, yes, straight out of college or straight out of wherever, straight out of trade school, that's great to you. You have the book stuff. That's important. Like I said, people have degrees and everything. I'm telling you, life stuff, it adds to your care and your compassion, your consideration when working with clients. It does, right? It does.
Absolutely, it does. Yep, and we've seen that time and time again.
Because you can go, I know what that feels like. My business did this at year 5. You know what I mean? Like, you go, you got year 10. I went, and I think it really does make a difference. Or I had a business that failed, that didn't work. I have this new one now. I'm doing this now, but I had a business that didn't work because I didn't know this then. That I know. I tell people all the time, I think do not sleep on real world experience. No,
that's right.
Don't. Now I just want to ask you. So, how'd you get to BBSI yourself?
Well, that's a great question. So I was recruited in. I've owned a couple of pretty large businesses, and I was actually in escrow selling my last business, and we hadn't closed yet. But I got hit up by one of BBSI's fantastic recruiting team,
Oh,
and that's what we
wow.
do. They look on LinkedIn, they looked everywhere, and they contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in interviewing. And honestly, at first I was a little hesitant, thinking, I'm not sure. I'm more of an entrepreneur at heart. I didn't ever see myself really selling insurance as kind of your typical insurance broker. So I just thought, gosh, I know I'm an entrepreneur. I need to be doing entrepreneurial things because I know that's what makes my heart beat. So I was a little hesitant, but I thought, what the heck, everything's for sale, right? I'll take a look. I'll take a look at this. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yes.
So about every interview, it was like a 5 interview process, and by every interview, I was more and more intrigued by what I was hearing, and it just sounded like a great fit. And honestly, by interview 4, right before I was going to my last interview, I got to the point where I just wanted this job. It sounded like where I was in my journey, my career journey, in owning so many businesses, and it seemed like just the perfect crossroad for me to continue my journey rather than own my own business, but help other business owners, help them grow as well. And again, I know it starts at work comp and payroll, but we don't park ourselves there, right? And we are so strategy focused. Now, that's not to say that we don't care about those things, because we do. Like when obviously the best comp claim that happens is the one that doesn't happen, right? But when somebody, God forbid, does have an injury, and we have great tools like a nurse hotline, a nurse triage hotline.
Oh, wow.
So nurse advocacy line 24/7. They're bilingual. They specialize in occupational medicine. So any non-life threatening injury, we put them on those 800 calls, and we take care of business. And the good thing there is almost 1/3 of those calls end up in no claim, because we're able to get them to self-treat. And then that nurse triage continues to follow up 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours to see how the injured worker's doing, and just making sure. And if they ever want to go see a clinic or a doctor, we'll always put them through. Yeah. But the idea is, none of us typically, if we're working in the workplace, most of us aren't doctors. Otherwise, we'd be in an emergency room somewhere probably. But the worst place for a business owner to be is to be put in that position of having to make a decision of, I don't know, is it bad enough to go to the doctor? I don't know. So in this way, no matter what it is, even if it's a paper cut, call that 800 line. Right. And let the nurse, nurse advocate, that's what they specialize in. Let them tell you what the best procedures are. And then if you need to see a clinic or go to an emergency room, they set it up. They get all the paperwork going for you. And then they send the injured worker to the closest medical center or clinic. And then from there, that same 4-person team manages all the claims. So whereas most insurance companies have adjusters, and they sometimes have 500 to 600 caseloads, claims caseloads, we have like 15 to 20. So our guys know those injuries and those injured workers, intimately. And so we're processing those claims. We're trying to manage the care, because again, our number one focus, if there is an injury, is to get that injured worker back to work and 100% to health, because that way the business owner can leverage them when they're back to work. And we try to mitigate any type of litigation, because that's what costs everybody money. So we don't want that. And we also don't want the claim to just linger, because again, the longer that claim stays open, the more money it costs everybody. And we don't want that for our insured. And one of the big KPIs that our team is compensated on is claims frequency and claim severity. So as well as the overall cost of the claim. So they have skin in the game. They want to see those claims being not at the compromise of care, but definitely want to get them shut down. And if an injured worker needs a referral, we want to make sure the referral is happening quickly, because so many times they just sit parked for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then what happens is that injured worker gets frustrated, and then they feel like they're not whole, and they feel like, well, the only choice I have is I got to call one of these 800 lawyers, right, that tell me I'm going to make all these thousands of dollars. So we want to definitely try to curtail that from happening, for sure.
Well, I think it's a great thing. I think it's one of those things where you're saying, like, we are hands-on. We are in there with you. We're in the trenches with you. We're here to assist you at different levels, different steps of this. We have things in place to help get there, and you like to see what happens. I think it's wonderful when people actually care and act like at least and like are just not just trying to get checks. not just trying to extract money out of you. I mean, like it's just that we have enough of that with the gas pump and everything else. So it's like I like that. If I'm going to do something like this, and a small business or just any size business, you're busy. Hopefully, I mean, even if you're not physically busy, you have other stuff you're doing. You're trying to build your business. You're trying to do this your business. You're trying to handle your employees. You're trying to there's always something to do.
That's right.
You're in your business. Trust me, I got things I can do all day long in my business, all the time, all the time. But I think it's good to have, and it's also good to have somebody you can partner with, like you said, BBSI, who can say, okay, we'll take this portion of load off of you. We'll handle this. Like you said, do your thing, be who you are. You're gonna do all you do. We're gonna handle this portion, and you're in good hands, so to speak. You're just with us. You're good. We're gonna work together, and we're gonna make sure that you continue to run smoothly. We'll handle the kind of the grunt work, the ins and outs, and all that kind of stuff. Right? That's what it is.
No, that's right. You're right. The business owner has lots of plates they're keeping spinning, right? And so what we try to do is take that plate, that injury or what have you, and take it, and we'll keep that plate spinning. That way you can focus on your other plates that you have to worry about.
I was say that's what it is. Trust me, we're all thinking we're going to take plates off of us. Trust me, I got 4 or 5 plates you can take off me. Idea, I know. One of the last things I want to ask you. It's been a great conversation. One of the things I want to ask you: have you been able to bring your entrepreneurial spirit? It sounds like you have to this role.
Yes, and in actually more ways than I even thought initially. Whereas we get to meet with the business owners, we have our business owners in for what we call a strategy session, or we call it a deep dive. Kind of a goofy word, but it really is a deep dive into their business. And we start with their historical narrative of where they began, how they got into that industry, or how they started business, to all the way to where they are to today. And then more importantly, we want to find out, where do you want to go? Like, where do you want to go today? Where do you want to go by the end of this year? And then let's look 1, 3, and 5 years out. And then we challenge their thinking of what that looks like. And then we hold them accountable. We put together an action plan that's dated, that in other words, that has specific landmark dates. And the team follows up with them to say, and again, not to browbeat them, just for accountability. We're an accountability partner. So it's like, hey, James, you said you wanted to do this by January 1st. Where are we with that? How can we help you get there? It's more of that type of thing. And you know what? That's not to suggest that we have all the answers, James. We don't. We have some amazing teams that I'm super proud of. And honestly, when you're around a group of BBSI folks, it's a humbling experience, because the quality and the experience is mind-blowing. But that's still, we don't know everything, right? And no one knows that business like that business owner. So it's just trying to get that out of them. And again, because we don't know everything, we just have really great questions. So we don't need to be defined by all the answers. We want to be defined by the questions we ask, because again, it might be something that they never ever have thought of, and it's sometimes as plain as the nose on our faces. But because they're working so hard in the business, they haven't come up 30,000 feet to look and say, what does it look like if I'm working on the business, right? Because again, so much of the compliance and so many other myriad issues happen to business owners that takes them away from the primary focus of what got them started in the first place. So we want to keep their focus there. So the same thing that causes their heart to beat, we want to keep that going for them as well. And it's exciting because we'll spend 4 or 5 hours in this strategy session, and they come out. Sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's great joy, but it's pretty emotional, and they're wiped out. And then we follow up with a full wrap up of what it was, what we agreed to, and the remarks we get after those strategy sessions are like, holy cow, I should have done this before. No one's ever taken the time to get to know my business. And again, it's not about, BBSI is all inclusive, so it's not like we're not always constantly trying to sell you something, because when you come on board with us, you get everything. There's nothing else to sell you, except for maybe some Girl Scout cookies when it's that time of year. But short of that, there's nothing else to sell you. So this isn't a sales job. This is hey, we want to invest in your business, and we want to come alongside you and help you get there. And when you think about that, James, no one's really doing that out there today. No one really is. And I love what we do. I cannot wait to get to work every morning, and these amazing people I get to work with, and especially our clients and referral partners. I pinch myself sometimes, but it's a great place to be.
See, Dan, that's what we're going to end this, because that's a good feeling. And I love what I do too every morning. I love what I do also. And you talk to people like you who like your jobs. And so I seriously, Dan, I love it.
Thanks,
And I'll keep you guys in mind. If I ever need you guys, I'll keep you guys in mind, obviously.
I would love that. I would love that.
Myself. But BBSI.com is the website. Dan, where else can they find you guys, or just if they want to start the process?
Absolutely. So bbsi.com is probably the best because it gives you the most comprehensive information, especially for insurance folks. There's a menu item on the website called referral partners, and that's what you would be as an insurance broker or producer. Check that out. There's all types of resources for you to print out and videos for you to a learning hub and so forth. But honestly, if you want to reach out to me directly, I'm always happy to have a conversation, or even I'll buy you lunch. Really, no strings attached. But reach out to me at dan.ventura, and that's Ventura like the city, the county, the freeway, at bbsi.com. So that's dan.ventura at bbsi.com. You can also reach me at 424-295-7997. That's area code 424-295-7997. I'll be happy to start a conversation and let's chat. That's what this is all about, is about relationships.
Yes, and I'll put those in the description so you can have those folks out there. Thank you, Dan Ventura, for your time. And
thank you, James.
My pleasure. And folks at IIABCAL Voices, you can go to IIABCAL.org for more information about the association itself. JLJ Media is the channel where this is all on, and we're on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere, and on the YouTube, the granddaddy of them all. Please take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.